Hey everyone, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. It is Thursday, January 3rd. Hope you're holding strong. I have some positive news to share with you guys. Bear with me. It is a lot of news, but it's all good stuff. So definitely worth staying for the end of the video. And of course, this is not financial or investment advice. The first I wanted to start off with, today is Bitcoin's birthday. Shout out to Bank XRP who tweeted this. The first Bitcoin block was mined on January 3rd, 2009 at 12:15 p.m. CST. He says, in addition to that, an open mine is a smart mine. Any cryptocurrency adoption is great. If there was no interest in Bitcoin, we would not have many of these great projects in cryptocurrency. So obviously, Bitcoin's the father, so to speak, of cryptocurrency. And now we have all these different altcoins. And without Bitcoin, I know a lot of people try to have cultism with their token and so forth. And I've told people, don't become like the Bitcoin maximalist, right? If you're in the XRP community, don't become like the Bitcoin maximalist. If you hold Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever. I personally diversify. I believe there will be multiple winners coming out of this market, just as there was in the dot-com boom in the 90s, where the underlying technology was the internet, just as we have the underlying technology of blockchain. And on both platforms are built different have different use cases, different projects, different services, different solutions, right? So on the internet, you had email and browsers and so forth, right? And on blockchain, you have cryptocurrencies, but the blockchain itself, it can also be used to improve the way we transact and trust. And of course, there's different utility tokens. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. So it's been 10 years, guys. So crypto's here to stay. This is a new asset class. And like I said, the underlying technology is a disruptive one that is going to change the world. Moving ahead, remember I was telling you guys that, and the logic and understanding of business would tell you this, that the big companies that are launching, like your Bakkt, your Fidelity, your TD Ameritrade, and so on, what do they have to do after they launch? They have to market. Mass marketing, crypto mass marketing is coming, and it's going to go mainstream, and we're going to start to see ads. And one such is from Gemini. The Winklevoss twins have a ton of money, and they have a ton of Bitcoin, and they're, of course, going to try to market their business. And we're going to see exchanges market their services, and traditional companies who are offering custody and trading services are going to market as well. So here's an ad, and actually it's not far from where I work in New York City, in Manhattan. But it's on a phone booth. It says, "Crypto needs rules. Gemini, the regulated cryptocurrency exchange." And of course, I'm not the biggest fan of Gemini. This is not a promotion of Gemini here, but rather I'm trying to show you guys what's coming. You're going to see offline marketing, online marketing, TV, radio. There's going to be a lot coming. So expect that. And that's a good sign. Like I said, the run that's going to take place next is going to be led by the institutions. And they're going to market the hell out of it. And count yourself lucky that you're in the market now. You've got in early, you got in at the low prices, because the prices will be pushed back up. Trust me, with the amount of money that's coming and the mainstream push, and the institutional and mainstream push. So big things are ahead. Now, on the note of the Apple, the company itself took a beating in the stock market today. Well, Anthony Pompliano, who's one of the guys at the Morgan Creek Digital, the investment firm, which is very bullish on crypto. I met these guys just recently at the crypto holiday party in New York City. And he tweeted here, Warren Buffett spent just over $1 billion to buy 9.8 million shares of Apple in Q1 2016. Today, that stake is worth $1.4 billion. Wow. So and let me read further. If he had taken the money and bought Bitcoin instead, he would have $8.7 billion. That's if he bought at the same time, of course. And that's a big return, guys. That's huge, right? But that shows the potential of this market. It moves a lot faster, and the upside it's much bigger at this point, because the market is in its infancy stage. And of course, we know famous quotes from Warren Buffett about crypto or about Bitcoin, saying Bitcoin is rat poison. Now, a lot of the dinosaurs and the old school guys are still trying to wrap their heads around it. They don't get the evolution of technology that's happening here, just as there was in the early 90s when a lot of people were saying negative things about the internet. And we saw how that turned out, right? Well, like I said, this is obviously Warren Buffett would still be ahead, and maybe he sold some at the top, right? Who knows? But it's just a comparison, just a perspective here of what's going on. And stocks are taking a beating. And like I said, I think some of that money is going to flow into the gold and silver, which it has historically, and then this new asset class of crypto. And with when you have that coupled with Fidelity and TD Ameritrade and all these major players marketing it, right? People are going to flood to it, guys, and put their money in it. So I absolutely believe that. Now, DX Exchange, guys, big news. So you guys know DX Exchange is launching next week, the 7th. You've seen my interview with the CEO, Daniel Skoronsky, and I'm going to, by the way, do a follow-up interview with him. So stay tuned for that. I think I'm going to try to get it done next week. Of course, his schedule is pretty busy. So I'm working to get something on the calendar where I will interview him, get more information. But guys, DX Exchange is going to be big, very big. As you all know, it is NASDAQ powered. It's using NASDAQ technology. And if you haven't seen the interview I did with the CEO, I'll put a link in the description. Go take a look at it, where he explains how, the exchange works and all the good stuff that's happening there. But we got some more insight today. So here's the headline on Bloomberg, and this was covered across the board by different news outlets. Tesla stock on blockchain offers hint of where crypto is headed. We've talked about the token economy. Everything will be tokenized, stocks, real estate, and so forth. DX Exchange plans to offer digital versions of big U.S. stocks. Tokenization of real-world assets is a hot trend in crypto. Like I said, that's where we're headed, guys, because of the blockchain. A digital exchange opening next week will enable investors to trade in companies like Apple, Facebook, Tesla outside of the U.S., even when the stock markets are closed. Even when the stock, that is huge. DX Exchange has offices in Estonia and Israel, will offer digital tokens based on share of 10 NASDAQ listed companies, which with plans to expand to the New York Stock Exchange as well as in Tokyo and Hong Kong. Each digital security is backed by one regular share, and holders will be entitled to the same cash dividends, even though the companies themselves aren't involved. This is huge. It never closes. It will always be open. The stock market closes, as we know, and you will be entitled to the dividends that you would get if you actually own the stock, right? Now, the exchange's virtual stock offering will provide a test of investor appetite for products that seek to improve upon mainstream financial markets by using technology from the world of cryptocurrencies. DX will offer digital stocks or tokens based on actual shares bought and held by partner MPS Marketplace Securities. So in their partnership with MPS, that company bought the stocks. So it's like they're holding the actual stocks, and they're going to, obviously DX is going to provide the tokenized version of it. And like I said, you will be entitled to the derivatives, which is great, or the dividends, I should say, not the derivatives. The tokens will be based on the Ethereum network. I told you guys, Ethereum ain't going anywhere. I'm telling you, there's some big things. I told you since I went to the World CryptoCon and the people I spoke to, and just look at the Blockchains LLC project that's taking place there. Ethereum is, don't just look at the ICO thing, right? People used it for ICOs because it was easy to do that, and they could easily launch and build on it. But there's real world utility and major stuff planned for Ethereum, guys. That's why I have it in my portfolio, and that's why I believe in diversifying it. And I keep saying there's going to be multiple winners coming out of this market. I believe XRP will be the biggest winner because of its utility and use case. So, but I'm like I said, Ethereum I believe will be a winner. So based on the Ethereum network, with the amount corresponding to demand on the DX exchange, digital stocks could hold advantages over traditional shares because they can be traded even when the exchanges are closed, and traders can choose to buy fractions of a share. They could also give foreign investors the ability to buy and sell U.S. shares they might otherwise struggle to access. And likewise, with them expanding, with DX expanding to other markets, stock markets like in Hong Kong, whatever, you know, people across the globe can now get involved and buy U.S. stocks, and likewise buy stocks. U.S. residents can buy stocks overseas. So it opens up a whole lot of avenues here for investing. Let's see. Even though the U.S. regulators oversee trading of DX initial roster of stocks, Chief Executive Officer Daniel Skoronsky said he doesn't need permission from Americans to offer this service because DX doesn't operate there. The company says it's licensed by the Estonian Financial Intelligence Unit with full authorization to operate in the European Union. So this is big, guys. And by the way, it's going to be launching, but not in the US. They're saying they are looking to launch in the US by Q2 of 2019. However, the way the U.S. government and the lack of regulatory clarity, that could delay it. I don't know. I'm actually going to ask the CEO when I speak to him. That's going to be one of my questions because, man, like I said, guys, we need that Token Taxonomy Act to be passed ASAP. Ripple's waiting on that, a lot of different companies, and it's really holding us up, man. So hopefully that gets passed, and you know, companies like this can be free to operate in the US, guys. But let's see. Like I said, I'm gonna have the interview and I'll follow up with you guys on it. DX Exchange also released a video talking about, you know, want to learn more about digital stocks, and they talk about how it all works. So you can check that out on Twitter. On their exchange, it's dx.exchange. And it talks about, you know, you can buy fractions of a share and you know, the correlation between, you know, the actual stock and the digital stock and so forth, and can be traded when the exchanges are closed. So this is huge, guys. This is the token economy we're headed for, everything being tokenized. And I think it's just huge that, you know, you can be in another country and invest in these stocks, not directly, but indirectly, and get paid out the dividends, which is huge. I hope you guys understand this. The significance of this is big time. Like I said, I'll put a link to the interview here with the CEO that I did at World CryptoCon, so you guys can get a bit more familiar with it. Now, speaking of the NASDAQ, we have a article from the Abacus Journal here saying sources, NASDAQ CRYPTO AMBITIONS, the listing of several coins will happen in 2019. Now, we did have news of the NASDAQ would be doing Bitcoin futures, but it seems like they're trying to move faster and list actual coins. And of course they are. Look, the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange, ICE, is launching its own crypto exchange. Fidelity and TD Ameritrade and all these people are getting involved. No one wants to get left behind. There's money to be made here. This is the new asset class. So let me give you some details here. Now, this is not, they don't actually give a solid source here. This is one of those, it said here, with the details remain a bit fuzzy, a trusted NASDAQ source. So they don't name the person. So I do want to put a grain of salt with this, right? That this could be BS, but I don't think it is, just because the NASDAQ has confirmed that they're looking to list Bitcoin futures, and we see all the major players and launches are happening this year. The NASDAQ is attempting to be the first mover in cryptocurrency exchange governance, order execution, and at the forefront of institutional movement into the crypto ecosystem. While there have been other headlines connected to global exchanges dipping their toes into crypto waters via partnerships and futures trading, the NASDAQ may just go all in. Here's a quote. This is from the folks at Abacus. They said this particular article was sourced and penned by Abacus Journal staff nearly 3 months ago. In light of today's developments, that NASDAQ has not only partnered with MVIS and VanEck, but also has immediate designs to list security tokens connected to current cryptocurrencies as well as the equities markets. Our sources were proven correct. That's what they said. This article is from today. And continuing here, and what does all in look like for the famously aggressive tech-savvy NASDAQ? Creating a pathway for cryptos to be listed and traded on the exchange proper. Our source just passed us this note. The conversation around listing coins has centered on how they will be classified from a regulatory standpoint. As you can imagine, our leadership is closely connected to the rumbling at the SEC and CFTC around cryptos and what is expected over the next 3 to 6 months. Interesting. Even with the longest of time frames, assume some guidance will be provided, and I expect we will act quickly. The framework, two different sets of framework based on two different regulatory outcomes, has already been laid. Guys, this is not far-fetched. This is common business practice and looking to be an early mover here in a market to like I said, no one wants to be left behind. Everyone wants to set up shop, and especially when their competitors like the New York Stock Exchange and the big players are doing this doesn't come as a surprise. This is like, I'm certain they're working on this and more. They have the money, the resources, they have the framework set up. They can handle securities. They already do with stocks, equities, and mutual funds and so forth. So guys, I hope you see what's to come. The big players are getting involved here, and we have to be patient. We have to be patient. And this is why I try to share the facts with you, not make anything up. But I did say, with this article, we had to put a grain of salt because we don't have a solid source here. But like I said, this is not far-fetched given the confirmation we had from the NASDAQ already that they're going to list Bitcoin futures. On that note, guys, so Gabor Gorbaks at Van Eck, I am trying to get an interview with him. So I'm in conversations with him as well. So as you know, he works for Van Eck, and they submitted the Bitcoin ETF proposal. So let's see if the SEC actually, does something by February 27th, which is a deadline. He tweeted here, Bitcoin's 10-year birthday, MVIS Indices, releases real-time U.S. OTC over-the-counter Bitcoin index data for the public in partnership with Circle Pay. Goldman Sachs owned Circle Pay. Cumberland, Genesis Trading. For commercial opportunities, contact MVIS and so forth. And they got the OTC index here, guys, which is interesting because, as you know, when these big players buy OTC, we don't know what they're buying, how much. It doesn't appear on exchanges, but it seems like they're building they're building this information to track this data. So this is interesting, and I have to take some time to review it and learn more about it. I'll try to ask Gabor about it, but guys, look at what's happening here. I mean, it's in our face. The writing's on the wall. Big things are ahead, and I think this market's going to take off. It's just a matter of the regulatory clarity that we're waiting for. And as even mentioned in this article where these folks said they were talking to the SEC and CFTC, and it could take a while, but they have their plans. If it goes this way or it goes that way, they know what they got to do. Moving ahead, some big Tron news. Now, as you guys know, I think just a couple of days ago, I said I added some Tron to my portfolio. It looks like I added it right in time because now that's not to say that Tron pumped significantly that I can't buy it now. It's obviously at a low because the market's down. Well, BitTorrent, as many of you may know, the file sharing site, been around for a long time. They are going to be tokenizing sharing, and I guess the BTT is what it's called, and will be crowdfunding on Binance Launchpad, and it's built on the Tron network, guys. It is a TRC10 token, so very interesting adoption here for Tron, and this, let's be honest, is real world adoption, right? BitTorrent, like I said, existed for a long time. I'm not going to say if I use BitTorrent or not. I don't want any of you to say, because we know what BitTorrent is about, but it is a real world adoption here, and let's see what the impact is. But like I said in my video the other day, I was very critical of Tron initially because of the plagiarism in the white paper and code, but since then I think they've cleaned up their act, and I started to see moves were being made, like legit moves are being made, and efforts to actually market the business. So I believe like Kobe Bryant, former NBA basketball player, many of you, I'm a basketball fan, so some of you, I'm sure you've heard, many of you have heard of Kobe Bryant. he's going to be doing, I believe, some sort of panel discussion with Justin Sun. So that's coming up. So they're making actual moves that a business should make, like real world adoption, marketing, and things like that. Things like I've talked about, which Ripple is doing, right? I don't think anyone beats Ripple in what they're doing, but that type of activity shows there's actual investments being made. They're taking the business serious. This is not some like, oh, pump and dump, pump up the token, sell off, and then disappear, right? This is different. So, shout out to Justin Sun and then the team at Tron. And like I said, I don't own a ton. Like I said in my video the other day, I don't own a ton of Tron, but I did add some to my portfolio. So I'm glad I did now, right? So really great stuff. Now, Overstock, as you guys know, Overstock has been one of those, the CEO at least, one of the most crypto-friendly companies where they accepted crypto. If you were purchasing items, we even had news that they were going to kind of liquidate the business and go all in on blockchain and crypto. They haven't given the details of what they're going to do. But anyway, we have news here that they paid their Ohio taxes in Bitcoin. As you know, Ohio, and I reported on this, whose governor is Warren Davidson, who's the guy who put out the Token Taxonomy Act. Well, Ohio made a big step in that you can pay your taxes in crypto, and it started with businesses, and then will eventually move to individuals. And the platform, it was ohiocrypto.com. Well, the online retailer Overstock announced that Thursday it will pay a portion of its Ohio state business tax in Bitcoin, using the state's recently announced crypto tax payment platform, ohiocrypto.com. The CEO, Patrick Byrne, he said, "We have long thought that thoughtful government adoption of emerging technologies, such as cryptocurrencies, when accompanied by non-restrictive legislation over these technologies, is the best way to ensure the U.S. does not lose our place as the forefront of the ever-advancing global economy." So shout out to them and Patrick Byrne for putting their money where their mouth is. And, this guy's been bullish on crypto since a long time. And like I said, you could have went into, still today, you could go on Overstock and pay with crypto to buy stuff. So, like I said, shout out to him. That's a big adoption here and win. You have, and they're setting a standard, right? They're leading by example. So, a great sign, and this will be, I think, the future, guys. And it's going to be for individuals as well. So, guys, it's all coming together. Be patient, but look at what is happening here. Sometimes it's so many news items, so overwhelming to cover all these items because there's so many moving parts and components, and that's a great sign, more than we can even keep up with, right? Rather than, I remember, like I said, when I got in the market late 2016, that there wasn't this type of news. I wish there was. I would have bought more at cheap prices, man. But I was, I was a bit of a skeptic. I got in because a friend told me, and a friend who made some money off crypto, and I got in, but I didn't buy that much. And I wish I had loaded my bags, because I would have made so much money in the December 2017 run up, guys. I would have made so much money. But I ain't missing it again. I learned my lesson here. And don't get me wrong, hindsight is 2020, of course. But the fact that we have this news now of actual adoption and governments getting ready to do their regulations, provide clarity, big companies and giants getting in this market, governments adopting, allowing you to pay with, crypto and so forth. Man, this is, like I said, I wish we had 2016 prices with this news, right? But it is what it is. But, honestly, this is close to 2016, as close as possible to 2016. I know it was much lower in 2016, but the fact that we had this bear market and everything went down. So I'm excited, guys. 2019, there's so many big things set to launch. And like I said, stay tuned for the interview with the follow-up interview, I should say, with Daniel of DX Exchange. So, guys, what do you think about this news? Leave your thoughts and comments below. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Please help share this video on my channel on social media. Let's help grow the community so people can learn about crypto. We take a factual approach here, logical, no over speculating, no religious, ideology stuff here. Facts. And let's look at how we can make some money, right? In this new asset class. So like I said, thank you guys for your support, and I'll talk to you all later.